Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality coming back with you here today with an article from The Federalist. This is dated February 14th, good old Valentine's Day. And it says, sources say U.S. intelligence agencies tasked foreign partners with spying on Trump's 2016 campaign. Yeah, I think we kind of all knew that this was something that was actually happening. And we know the Russia collusion thing was a hoax now and that it was kind of perpetrated from, these groups here. So let's go ahead and see what this says. But this is not a good thing. The sources say U.S. intelligence agencies illegally mobilized foreign intelligence agencies to target Trump advisors long before the summer of 2016. Why would they do that? Because the U.S. intelligence community asked fellow members of the Five Eyes Intelligence Alliance to surveil Trump's associates and share the intelligence they acquired with U.S. agencies. Hiccup. Sources told a small team of independent reporters who broke the story yesterday. That would have been February 13th. Says this I can read two-letter words. It says, in CIA had foreign allies spy on Trump team, triggering Russia collusion hoax, sources say. Journalists Michael Schellenberger, Matt Taibbi, and Alex Gutentag reported the top-line takeaway along with several other key details. According to the authors, multiple credible sources said that the United States Intelligence Community, or IC, including the Central Intelligence Agency, illegally mobilized foreign intelligence agencies to target Trump advisors long before the summer of 2016. Yeah, I did see a little bit of this thread on Twitter from Michael Schellenberger and Matt Taibbi. Didn't mean to do that, but that was a picture of Michael Schellenberger. There you go. But yeah, you can definitely go. I was about to say check his Substack, but it says in the article published on Schellenberger's Substack, noted until now, the official story has been that the FBI's investigation began after Australian intelligence officials told U.S. officials that a Trump aide had boasted to an Australian diplomat that Russia had damning material about Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton. That probe, dubbed Crossfire Hurricane, launched on July 31st, 2016, although Special Counsel John Durham would later conclude the Australian tip failed to justify the investigation into the Trump campaign, so spying on Trump. However, British intelligence sources began targeting Trump on behalf of American intelligence agencies possibly as early as 2015, according to Tuesday's Blockbuster article. Several outlets had previously reported that the British Government Communications Headquarters, or GCHQ, had discovered alleged ties between Trump and the Russian government. According to the British-based Guardian, which is never a good place if that's one of your sources, they are extremely far to the left, and they're just not a good source at all. So not a good place to start. Says a source close to UK intelligence claimed that GCHQ first became aware in late 2015 of suspicious interactions between figures connected to Trump and known or suspected Russian agents, yet The Guardian reported that GCHQ was at no point carrying out a targeted operation against Trump or his team proactively seeking information. The alleged conversations were picked up by a chance as part of routine surveillance of Russian intelligence assets. Over several months, different agencies targeting the same people began to see a pattern of connections that were flagged to U.S. or to intelligence officials in the U.S. This is not so, according to Schellenberger, Taibbi, and Gutentag sources who are familiar with the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence's investigation. And some of those House titles are really long. So in truth, the USIC asked the Five Eyes Intelligence Alliance to surveil Trump's associates and share the intelligence they acquired with U.S. agencies, the journalists reported their sources as saying, with the Five Eyes nations being the United States, United Kingdom, Canada, New Zealand, and Australia. And yeah, I know it's Canada, I just said Canada. So it says, sources also claimed, according to Tuesday's article, that President Barack Obama's CIA Director John Brennan, both of these people, John Brennan and Barack Obama, are extremely corrupt, as far as I'm concerned, had identified 26 Trump associates for the Five Eyes to target. According to journalists, a source confirmed that IC had identified those associates as people to bump or make contact with or manipulate, and claimed the individuals were targets of our own IC and law enforcement, targets for collection of misinformation. And keep in mind, too, John Brennan was one of the people that I mentioned at the beginning that signed, or actually, no, that wasn't this video. That was another video. Never mind. I was going to say, but he's one of the guys, anyway, that signed that document saying that the Hunter Biden's laptop was misinformation. So that's how much you can trust this guy, because he ended up lying about that. So the source close to the investigation reportedly told the team of journalists that if they were making contacts and bumping Trump people back, going back to March 2016 and sending people around the UK, Australia, and Italy, the Mossad in Italy, the MI6 was working at an intelligence school they had set up. And MI6, for people that don't know, that is British intelligence. The Schellenberger, Taibbi, and Gutentag further reported their sources claim that unknown details about the FBI's investigation of the Trump campaign and raw intelligence related to the IC surveillance of the Trump campaign are in a 10-inch binder that Trump ordered to be declassified at the very end of his term. The three journalists stressed that this new information is supported by testimony already in the public record. In fact, much of the article confirms theories developed from the evidence gleaned over the years. So we're going to go into years of evidence. It says, for instance, in all the Russia collusion clues are beginning to point back to John Brennan, which again shows you how corrupt this dude is. There's highlighted Brennan's testimony to the House Intelligence Committee in May 2017 that he had encountered and am aware of information and intelligence that revealed contacts and interactions between Russian officials and U.S. persons involved in the Trump campaign that I was concerned about. Brennan told the committee back then that he didn't know whether there wasn't a collusion with Russia, but that he passed the information on to the FBI. And as I wrote at the time, and that's the author, not me, it says the evidence suggests, however, that Brennan's CIA and the intelligence community did much more than merely pass on details about contacts and interactions between Russian officials and U.S. persons involved in the Trump campaign to the FBI. The evidence suggests that the CIA and intelligence community, including potentially the intelligence communities of the UK, Italy, and Australia, so we're adding Italy in now besides the other ones from the Five Eyes, it says created the contacts and interactions that they then reported to the FBI as suspicious. And so they made it up and said this. They made up all the stuff and then just basically was like, yeah, this is what he did. Nice. And we're going to report it as actually happening. Says the known entities of this apparent conspiracy included Stephen Halper, an American confidential human source, or CHS, informant for the FBI who, as I wrote at The Federalist, again the author, not me, Jason, worked at Cambridge University alongside Sir Richard Dearlove, the former director of the British intelligence service MI6, and Christopher Andrew, the official historian for the British counterintelligence group MI5. So it has long been known that Halper reached out to several members of the Trump campaign as a CHS for the Crossfire Hurricane team. But Halper's efforts to ingratiate himself began before the official launch on July 31st, 2016. In mid-July 2016, Halper approached Carter Page at a conference in Cambridge. American Stephen Schrage, who organized that conference, detailed the happenings in the article The Spies Who Hijacked America. Just as Schrage told it, for most of the conference, Halper couldn't be bothered with Page, about whom he made snarky comments about behind Page's back. Well, that changed after Dearlove arrived at the conference and spoke with Halper. Halper then seemed desperately interested in isolating, cornering, and ingratiating himself to Page and promoting himself to the Trump campaign, Schrage wrote. Says while Halper's outreach to Page came only a couple of weeks before the launch of Crossfire Hurricane, the apparent targeting of Trump campaign volunteer George Papadopoulos first occurred in March 2016. Open source material reveals that on March 14, 2016, George met London-based college professor Joseph Mifsud while traveling in Italy. At the time, Mifsud, the director of the London Academy of Diplomacy, claimed connections to the Russian government. And according to Papadopoulos, he traveled to Italy, specifically Rome, at the encouragement of a woman in London who was the FBI's legal attaché in the UK. That initial meeting of Mifsud led to several more, including the fateful one where Mifsud supposedly told Papadopoulos that the Russians had dirt on Hillary Clinton. The conversation the FBI claimed justified the launching of Crossfire Hurricane. And again, it was all bullshit. As has been detailed at length, most comprehensively by Lee Smith at Real Clear Investigations, Mifsud had numerous connections to Western intelligence services and has taught at the Link Campus University in Rome, a university whose lecturers and professors include senior Western diplomats and intelligence officials from a number of NATO countries, especially Italy and the United Kingdom. So confirming theories. These details closely match the information that sources revealed to Schellenberger, Taibbi, and Gutentag, and should the raw intelligence reports exist, and as those sources claim, there will be concrete confirmation that foreign intelligence services targeted the Trump campaign, which in turn will confirm many of the theories posited about the real start of the Russia collusion hoax. It seems unlikely that there will be anything in writing to establish John Brennan or another member of the U.S. intelligence community solicited assistance from other members or the other members of Five Eyes. Nonetheless, Americans deserve to know what was in that 10-inch binder and which foreign intelligence services interfered in our 2016 election by bumping members of the Trump campaign to craft the Russia hoax. Yes, that would be very, very, very interesting, and we would definitely deserve to know. Does the now known significance of that binder also raise the specter that the search of Mar-a-Lago wasn't to protect classified materials, but to protect intelligence agencies, American and foreign? So how about that? So that's why Mar-a-Lago was raided that one day, Okay, they're trying to cover their own asses. So how do you feel about that? And how do you feel about all this as a whole? Let me scroll back to the top here. So what do you think about our intelligence agencies? Essentially, like them, it almost seems committing some sort of treasonous activity. Let me know in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.